Hi, welcome to my channel. In this video I will talk about segment value security. So let's start to know what does it mean. First of all, we talk about overview about segment value security. Set up segment value security rules on value set to control access to parent or detail segment values for the chart of account segments, also called flexfield segments. Segment value security rules restrict three types: data entry, online inquiry, and reporting. In this topic I will not cover only GL, I will cover more modules like payables, receivable, fixed assets, subledger accounting. When you enable security on a value set, access to all values for that value set is denied. To control access to value set values, you have to enable security on the value set, then create conditions, then assign the condition to the rules to form security policies. It's like we have chart of accounts, we have a lot of segments. For each segment we have a value set. So in case of you need to make or enable security for one of these value sets to restrict users or restrict accessing to the values from the user side. The rules should be created slowly for the purpose of segment value security. The rules are then assigned to users. To ensure the segment value security applies properly throughout Oracle General Ledger, you make sure that every user who is working with the security value set is assigned at least one of those rules. If the value set is secured, every usage of that value set in chart of account structure instance is secured. The same security applies if that value set is used for two or more segments. For example, primary balancing segment and the intercompany segments, you can use the same value set. So in case you enabled the value set of primary balance segment for security, it will apply the same for intercompany because the same using the same value set shared across different segments of different chart of account. If you want to secure only the primary balance segment, not the intercompany segment, then these two segments must use two different value sets. In this case, you have to don't share the same value set between primary balancing segment and the intercompany segment. And also, in case of you using the same value set across two or three chart of accounts, also the security will be reflected to the other chart of accounts. If the journal import process creates an account combination, then segment value security is enforced. If the account combination exists, then no check happens. You can enforce segment value security for inquiries reporting based on any hierarchy, even if these hierarchies that aren't published to the reporting cube. On setup pages, you can still view referenced account combination with secured account values, even if you haven't been granted access to those secured values. However, if you try to update such references, you cannot. You just can view without update, without edit, blah blah blah. On reports, you can view balances for secured account values only if you have access to those secured values. If not, you cannot see the balances or you cannot view the balances for the secured account values. When setting up and maintaining account shorthand aliases, again, segment value security is enforced. Only segment values that you have access to are available in the list of the values. When setting up re-evaluation definitions, again, segment value security rules are enforced. Inquire and analyze balance displays all segment values instead of only displaying the segment values available to the role of the users, because later when we do some practices, it's like some steps to enable the security and create custom rule, assign the rule to the users, deploy chart of account flexfield, make your rule condition operators, blah blah blah, and then try to log out and log in again to check is it affecting the system or not. When creating a new journals, only the segment values available to the rules of the users are displayed, and whatever is secured, it will not displayed. All Fusion balance inquiries and reports like Smart View, Hyperion Financial Reporting, Inquire, Analyze, OTBI, whatever, secure the balances but not the metadata. Also, it will be affected by the security segment values. Using segment value security to limit the cost center accessible to a rule will prevent the user from seeing balances of the cost center. However, it has no impact on the list of values of cost center. What is the business benefits of secure? First of all, that you have to provide greater precision in securing account access for each users to each product module, like general ledger, payables, receivables, assets, intercompany, and subledger accounting. Limit security enforcement to the modules where this is required. This features addresses a wide range of financial data security requirements by providing a fine-grained chart of accounts based data security control using highly precise grants of secured account values to users qualified by business function, data security context, read-onlys, or read and write access level. This ensures that all users only get the exact and appropriate access to the financial data they need to work with. The other one is reduce the time needed to set up and maintain rules. Users with unrestricted access to accounts are automatically granted all account values. Users who require restricted access are assigned an explicit security configuration. Again, this is streamlined configuration and administration of this chart of account security feature is achieved by selectively enabling security enforcement for distinct business functions. Simplified onboarding via management by exception is achieved through initially providing access to all secure account values by default to all users. Only those users who should work with just 13 accounts for their given usage scenarios need to be actively managed and assigned distinct rules to limit their access. The access requirement you will need to have a rule that is based on either, first of all, application implementation consultant, financial application administrator, IT security administrators to have access to the full range of functions required to set up all elements involved with configuration segment value security. The new manage advanced chart of account segment value security. Also, you can also this privilege to control the access to the manage segment value security rules and rule assignment spreadsheet. The setup steps that you can enable security only on value sets with a type independent. During define the value set of our chart of account segments, there are a lot of types: dependent, independent, table, query, whatever, SQL, blah blah blah. So you can only enable security for the type of independent. So whatever the value set in your chart of accounts, you have to check first what is the type of this value set. Is it table? You cannot. Is it dependent? You cannot. Is it whatever other things? You cannot. Only independent. Setup steps is very easy. First of all, that you have to create a custom rule for segment value security. Once you create these custom rules, you can assign it to users either now or later. Then you can first of all enable security for the specific value set, either cost center, balancing segment, company, account, blah blah blah. Create your conditions to put what is the values, what is the operators, conditions, blah blah blah. Create a policy. This is just a name. Just deploy the flexfield and publish account hierarchy versions. If you put instead of specific values, you put hierarchy, you put tree, blah blah blah. So you have to publish account hierarchy version. So before I starting to show you how to enable and how to set up, let's start to talk about very important. This slide is very important because what? Because as you see here, segment value security by business function. This is a new method of a chart of account security that is available if you are new to segment value security. What does it mean? Business function means modules. We said before that you can enable segment value security for payable, receivable, intercompany, subledger accounting method, and fixed assets. Here the system, what this note is saying, that there are segment value security by business function is a new method. A new method means what? With any environment that doesn't have any value set enabled for a security will automatically be identified with this new model. If you have now one environment, either demo or production, this environment it doesn't have any value set enabled for security before. This environment will be automatically be identified with this new module. It's value set security by business functions. Business function means our 5 modules: FA, B, AB, AR, intercompany, subledger accounting method. Type. And this is set at all the enterprise level. Any chart of account value set enabled for a security rule in such environments will enforce segment value security by business function as it is described. So now my current environment, is there any value sets enabled before for a security? So in this case we cannot see or enable segment value security by business function. You cannot enable the value or the segment value security for payable, receivable, for our subledger. But if you don't have any value set enabled before for security, so in this case you can enable security by business function. Here, for the environment where is at least one existing value set enabled for security, including one that is assigned to your chart of account segments or other application key flex fields, it will continue to behave in the same manner as it had all along in previous releasing, enforcing segment value security here without business function, here with or by business function. In this case, any future value set enabled for security in such an environment will also apply enforcement in the same manner, security without business function. In this scenario, and you wish to switch to segment value security with business function, Oracle can work with you to navigate through that switch. Again, this is the very important slide in this slides and in this video. What is the status of your environment? Are you enabled before any value set for security? So your environment will be security without business function. Or you don't have any segment or value set enabled for security before, so you can work with a new method which is segment value security by the business function. Now I will show you 2 environments. One environment will work with our new method, and the other environment which is work with value or segment value security without the business function. So let's navigate to the now I have two instances or demo, one EV, one AH. Okay, in EV there are a lot of value set enabled before for security. So in case of I go to manage chart of account, manage chart of account configuration, and I select any chart of account. Okay, for example US, for example this one. Here if I go to enable security, here there is no option for business function. Business function means there is no any options for payables, receivables, intercompany, blah blah blah. In the same time I have another demo. Here in this environment there is no any value sets enabled before for security. So I will select the same manage chart of account configuration, and I will select, for example, this chart of account. The same, I will go to enable security. Here when I try to enable, it's asking me what is the data security resource name. After that you have to deploy and publish, blah blah blah. Here once you enable security, what you will see, manage segment value security by business function. This is the difference. In case of your environment like this and you need to work like this, you have to work with Oracle to switch or to help you to switch from this solution to this solution. So this is the first step, so because we see a lot of questions related to that. I already configured and enabled security for a specific value set, but it's not reflected in our subledgers. This is because this setup. So after that setup steps, that first of all you can create a custom rule. Create custom rule from the rule category default. So I will navigate to my environment which is working with by business function. So I will duplicate and go to tools, security console, create a rule. I will work on create a specific security, or I will enable segment value security for my account segment. I will create a rule. So I will secure account value set. I will take the same as the rule code. Here what we said default. Here you can enter segment value security, blah blah blah. Next until the users, either you will assign a users or later you can assign a users. So later I will assign, save and close. This is the first step to create a rule. So we'll do one thing, we will put the rule name here because we will using it later. Okay, what is the next step? So we did this, خلاص, it's default. Then you can assign it either now or later. We said later. After that you can enable the security. As you see here, you can select specific value sets and enable security and start to edit data security to upload the values, condition, operators that these users with this value set will see these values, will not view these values, blah blah blah. But before of that we need to mention some things for enabling the segment value set by business functions. Enforcement of a chart of account segment value security by business functions can only be applied for general ledger, payables, receivables, assets, intercompany and subledger accounting. For all other product modules, there is no enforcement when security is enabled for the chart of account segment value set. and users working with these other modules will have access to all accounts. The other one, you must use manage chart of account configuration page to enable security for a value set. Don't use the manage value set, edit value set, or edit value set security pages, because the initialization for the value set required for segment value security by business functions won't be successfully, and the security configuration for the value set won't be correct. So if this is the initialization, you have to go to like this. So for enable security enabled for any value set, you have two options, either from manage chart of account configuration, or from manage value set, and select specific value set to enable the security. After that you can manage the conditions, policy, blah blah blah. For example here, that if you go to manage chart of account configurations, you can select it, and you can select whatever chart of account you want. And in chart of account, for example this, you can go to select which value set, which segment you are going to enable. So you can do like this. After you enable security and save, then you can download as a spreadsheet from manage data security. It will be like this sheet. The system will ask you to insert policy name, description, rule name, which is a custom rule you already created for this security. Operator, between, equal, we will talk about this operator, and enter the values. After you entered everything, you can come here to upload and check the insert either successfully or failed. This is one way. And also from here, don't forget that you can enable or enforce the security of value segment for our subledgers, or as a business functions like payables, receivables, intercompany, fixed assets, and subledger accounting. The other way, from here you can manage which module you are going to enforce. You can deselect, select, and so on. The other way that just to go to manage chart of account value set, you just come here and you select, if you know the value set code, I know already, I can select this FS account and then update, enable security, edit, and enter the condition. Before of that, I just need to go show you that I have access to full my ledger will be MOGL, and here I will try to create journals. I will show you that I have access to all of the account. I just go to ECC, you will find all. If you click search, 1, 2, 3, 4, blah blah blah. So now I will restrict to see only specific values, like for values, 3 values, and we can come again to try to create a journals to check is it reflected, is it affected or not. Okay, so I just go to home. I already go to manage value set. I select my value set, enabled security, edit data security. Once you edit data security, the system will ask you to create 2 things, which is conditions and policy. For the condition, just click add and enter what is these conditions. Just FS secure account. What is the display name? The same. What is the description? The same. Here the options, that is it filter or SQL predicate. If you have SQL, you can select. I will select filter. What is the match? There are 2 options of match. Match here that is based on what condition is going to be. For example, if it's 3, 4, 5 values and users should be able to use any one, then you have to pick any. Else all is picked for the users who has access to all values. So in this case I will select any, for example, and here I will put our values for this account. There are value set values, so you have to select it here, that this is values of these values value set. It will be only applicable for the use. Here the operators, there are a lot of operators. If you need to talk about some operators, that this is our operators. Operators means, as you see or as you know, that all values. It means provides access to all account values. It's between from two values. Contains access to account values that contains a specified value. Ends with also access to account values that end with specified value. Equal to is equal to. Also is distinct of and is last distinct of is using for parent and child account, like a tree and hierarchies. So in case of you are going to upload or make your conditions based on tree or hierarchies, parent, child, high level, low level, so these options is for parent and tree. As you see here, the description for this and description of this. Not equal to is provide access to all non-parent account value except for the specified account, and start with versa of the end with, and so on. This is the operators. In my sample case, I will select is equal to. So I will put value. Here the value is not a list of value, so you have to know the value sets of this value set, the values in this value set. So I already know that 2000, and I will enter around 4 values. This is up to your requirement. So again, equal to, for example, 2002, and again, for example, equal to 133, and last value is equal to 1002. So now, once you complete the condition and the policy and deploy the flex field, if I come again to create journals, I have to see only 1, 2, 3, 4 value only. Okay, so I will click save and come to policy. So policy, you have to create the policy. Again, what is the name, what is the start date, what is blah blah blah. Policy, for example, start date, you cannot put any backdated, you have to put the system date. Okay, general ledger, what is the rules, you have to click add, and you can select the custom rules which we already created in the beginning. This is secure account value set. Okay, then the system will ask you what is the rule which you already created in condition. Here multiple values, yes. What is the conditions? Just click go, it will show you the condition which you already created. That's it. Save and close. Saved successfully. Policy and condition. Try to save, try to submit, try to come back to the structure and make deploy for any changes, either enable security, disable security, remove condition, update condition, remove the policy, remove the rule, whatever. You have to deploy the flex field. Just search deploy. Once this deployment is succeeded, you have to log out and log in again. But before of that, you have to assign these custom rules to the users to ensure that these users only has access to these 4 or 5 or whatever values. And if you assign the rules to the users, you have to run LDAP as a run rules and users synchronization process to reflect this change. Once the deployment in progress is succeeded, you have to log out and try to log in again to check. And sometimes it takes some time, and sometimes also, and we have also to ensure that it's completed successfully, like this green, right, green, then done. Again, if you go to assign the rule from tools and security console, you have to select the specific custom rules which you already created for this purpose. You can come here and edit and go to users to check which users is assigned to this. Okay, if you assign, خلاص, again come back to the setup and the security and the maintenance, sorry, and run rules and synchronize users process. Once it's completed, you can just try to log out. I will log out from here and try to log in. Confirm. I will try to log in again to check is it reflected or not, or maybe it's take some time. So I go to try to create a new GL journal. Create journal. You have to select the proper ledger which is assigned to this chart of account. Again, come here to try check account. Still not reflected, so I will try to wait some time and log out and log in. So I will log out. Try also from here. Okay. Okay, so we can wait some time, then try to log in again. So I will try to log in and come back to general ledger, journals, select the proper ledger which is assigned to the chart of accounts, which is our value sets is assigned to the chart of accounts of this ledger. Just go to back, go down, select the account. You have to see only our 4 values. If you remember, we select 2002, 2003, 1002, 1003. The same way you can find it in the subledger. For example, if you go to setup and maintenance, as I told you before, that if you need to the same values appearing in subledgers, you have to go to manage chart of account configuration and select whatever the chart of account which is related to the value sets which is enabled for security. Then come here and select, I need also to enforce this value segment security in payable, in receivable, intercompany, whatever. So I selected also. I will show you now as example in payables how it will be enforced there. So I will cancel because I already selected before, done. So let's go to payables to try with the same users to create a new invoice to check what is the list of values of account will be shown there. Create, again select the proper ledger and business units which is assigned to our value set. This is our business unit. Select the supplier, number, amount and currency. Select if there any missing data for accounting, liability, date. Then go to line and go to distribution to check the list of the account. You will find also our 4 values. This means that our security segment enforced for payables and GL, and also if you go to receivables, assets, whatever the business function you selected in manage chart of account configuration, it will be enforced there. So let's come back to our, this is a practice part. This is our operators, and as you see in the setup, this is the setup, values, conditions, security, deploy, publish if you assigned any hierarchy in your conditions. Just publish and log out and log in again. Don't forget to deploy the flex field. This is our operators, is a reference for you. So as we said before, that the security context of business functions also enforces the segment value security payables is applicable business function for payable modules. Payable users have the following access levels of the segment values of secured chart of accounts based on payable business functions that read and write, which is to read and write whatever, and read only, as users cannot create transactions using these account values. Payable considerations that there are no extra payable related setup to undertake to enable segment value security by business. As we said, that it's just you have to select payable business functions. And there are a lot of things that if segment value security is still enforced in the following scenarios, that read access to accounting combination. So when users review the transaction accounting page, they can see only accounting lines that have an account combination to which they have either read write or read only access. Other accounting lines what aren't displayed if the user doesn't have any specific rules assigned. For the read access to invoice distributions, also users navigate to the distribution page of invoice. They can see only the invoice distributions referencing the account values to which they have either read write or read only access. Other distributions aren't displayed. For the read access to account values, users trails down to invoice distribution, say from payment or GL journals, whatever. They can see only the invoice distributions referencing account values to which they have either have read write or read only access. Other distribution again aren't displayed. How to enable segment value security for primary balancing segment of the chart of accounts and the intercompany. In all of our organizations that we have, if we have intercompany segment in our chart of accounts, so in most cases we assign the same value set of the primary balancing segment to the intercompany segment. So in this case, that as we said, that chart of account is implemented with intercompany segment and aside its same value set of the primary. Now segment value security is to be enabled for the primary balancing segment of the chart of account and to restrict group of users to just work with their primary balancing segment values. Because segment value security is enabled at the value set level, this means that enable security will enforce for both primary balancing segment and intercompany segment. This is problematic because this is what effectively mean that each legal entity can only trade with itself, since each user would only be limited to work with their own legal entity on the both intercompany and primary balancing. Solutions that in such situation, different value sets should be assigned to the intercompany segment to keep the intercompany segment unsecured or secured independently of primary balancing segment. So consider the following. Always do these setup steps in test instance as a demo and verify these things are working fine before taking these steps in production environment. Thoroughly verify and check modified chart of accounts before you enable security for any of its segment value sets. If there are already existing account combination of your chart of accounts, the system will not allow changing the value set assigned to the chart of account segments using the application user interface. In this case, you have to contact Oracle for assistance to make this change. Also make sure that this new value set to be assigned to the intercompany is an exact replica of the original value sets it shares with the primary balancing segment with identical value sets. Afterwards, as you make change to one value set, you must ensure that the same change is also made to the others so that they stay in synchronization. It's critical that the two value sets detailed child values are kept in synchronization. It also recommended to do the same with their parent values and hierarchy as well. Don't change the value set assignment to the primary balance segment. There are several data tables in the applications that already registered that assignment. After changing the value set assignment for the intercompany, try to redeploy the GL accounting flex field. And this is in summary the solutions. Solution, it's recommended by Oracle to define a new value set for the intercompany segments and try to redeploy and try to redefine the same values, child, parent, and so on. If not, you have to contact Oracle support to achieve this switch. How to view data in report for the segment which is secured through segment value security. That if you defined a lot of policies, a lot of conditions, a lot of value securities, by the end you need like a report or a tool to check what is defined related to segment value security in your environment. This is enhancement requirement to remove security on a standard BI report for read access. And also, why is segment value security not working on FBDI spreadsheet? That FBDI functionality is working as intended in this case. There are no validations on spreadsheet while importing the journals. Rather, once the journals are imported, user will not be able to view them in manage journal, as segment value security works on UI and it will not allow the users to access segment to which he is not having access to. This is standard functionality and it works in UI only, user interface only for FBDI. This is, we need to know the tables, whatever. This is for technical, like as I said before, I need to build a report, to build custom report to give me all of the informations setup related to segment value security. This is that the tables, if in case you need to identify all of chart of account segments, you have to write this query. I will also put it in descriptions. If you identify value sets that are data security enabled, you have to run this query. To get all complete details, you have to run like this select query. If you don't aware or you don't have any knowledge in technical, you just share this data with your technical team to build a report or to extract all of the setup data which is related to segment value data security. What else? This is the end. I hope now to got how to enable security for business function, for GL, people, and receive fixed assets will be the same way. In case of your environment is not showing like this button as we show you before, that manage a business function in manage chart of account configurations, you have to contact Oracle. Thanks for watching.